97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
Hello and welcome to Politicos. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. This is Citi TV. So this week, we'll look at a number of issues. The Electoral Commission has set up a committee to help it with the election. But where does that leave the Inter-Party Advisory Committee? And is this even necessary for the elections? We'll find out. Also, a bill has been introduced before Parliament, which is sort of going to be eavesdropping on your conversation. Are you comfortable government listening into your chats, private WhatsApp and stuff? We'll find out on that. Also, water shortage hits the nation. Acute water shortage across the country, but specifically in Nsawam. Why is that situation so dire? We'll bring you a report. Now, the interception of postal packets and telecommunications messages bill. What does this mean? It's causing a lot of outrage within the public. On social media, there's already a campaign kicking against it. What is this bill about that was introduced before Parliament this week? Duke Mensa Opoku is our man. He has been observing, he has read through the bill and will now explain to us what does the government seek to do with this new bill?
Okay, so Sanda, the bill, if it is passed and becomes law, will give government the legal basis to tap, record and analyze communication that is going on between ordinary citizens.
With your consent or without
your consent? And what they seek to do actually is to be able to crack into the international menace of drug dealing, organized crime, narcotics and issues like that. So they want legal basis to be able to listen in on people's calls so that they can gather intelligence to conduct swoops aimed at ending some of these crimes.
So this is a brilliant idea, but why are people angry?
Of course, this would also mean that people's privacy is actually going to be trampled upon. A voice such as that of the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kankwe Central, Patrick Yabwama, is seriously advocating against this in Parliament, saying that it's in contravention of Article 18(2) of our laws. But we also have other voices like that of Major Yauderiko Dro on the Interior and Defence Committee, saying that this is actually very good because it would give government the basis to actually protect people by being able to tap and record the information which is going around. And intelligence and information gathering is very key in fighting crime.
But we also know that the time frame that they gave for the public input was a bit limited. It was just a week, and groups like the Center for Democratic Development was worried. And we've also heard now that Parliament has given 3 more weeks, or is it 2 additional weeks for public input. Is this going to make any difference?
Yes, already various connoisseurs and analysts are calling this bill the eavesdropping bill or the spying bill, which tells you the amount of controversy it's already generating. It was just a 1-week window to submit memoranda and inputs to the committee that is actually considering this bill now. It's been extended by 2 weeks. So for me, I think that would give people the time. Albeit not being enough to be able to go through and then make reasonable inputs into this.
So we know prior to this bill, before you tapped into anybody's conversation which the government wants to do, they have to go to court to seek a ruling or a declaration as to that matter. What is going to happen this time around?
They would have to go to court still, but within a 48-hour window after tapping and recording your call.
So whilst they are recording you, they will now go to court and seek a sort of validation.
They will have to get validation from the lawyers.
Does that make any sense to the people who are protesting against it?
No, because it will still amount to trampling upon people's rights of privacy.
Wow, so that's a bill that is before Parliament and it's causing a lot of commotion. There are a lot of groups that are protesting against it. There are some people, of course, who are welcoming it. But it's a bill that is before Parliament. The public is being urged to bring in their public input. As the weeks pass by, we'll see how Parliament is going to take action on this bill or how it's going to debate on this bill and the other groups that are going to protest or come in support of that bill. So this week, the Electoral Commission came into the news. They told us that they had set up an election steering committee. What is the purpose of this committee? How different is it going to be from the Inter-Party Advisory Committee? Is it even needed for the 2016 general elections? A lot of issues have come up and we are being told now that there's a suspension somewhere. 6 to Don Ulo is the man following this story. Welcome to Politicos. So what is happening with this committee?
The Electoral Commission, Sanda, met and upon review of protests that has been issued by various political parties and allied groups of the political parties. We know groups like Let My Vote Count Alliance, Alliance for Accountable Government, which are pro-NPP, have all protested against this particular committee. And so upon those protests, the Electoral Commission decided to suspend the committee and its operations until after all concerns on the matter have been
So let's go a
addressed.
step backwards. What is the purpose of this committee at all?
Well, we were told on the day the Electoral Commission inaugurated the committee, it's made up of 18 members. And these members are supposed to oversee the running of the entire election come November. So, in fact, they are supposed to start...
What does it mean to say running of the election? They are going to be in charge of that. What does that mean?
Sanda, that particular meaning is still shrouded, because when we spoke with the public affairs director at the Electoral Commission, Christian Osu-Pare, he just mentioned that they are supposed to be in charge of the deliberations. They are supposed to look at instruments, policies. They are supposed to consider all of the concerns that would come up in the course of the process. And so they are supposed to look into challenges, look at the possible solutions, and ensure that we have a successful election in November.
Thank you very much. Sixtus Don Ulo is a man who is watching that election steering committee that has been set up by the Electoral Commission, causing a lot of controversy among pressure groups and even the opposition political party, the New Patriotic Party. So for the past few weeks, we've been following a story where we are hearing about acute water shortage across the country. Most importantly, the area in Nsawam, we've heard that a whole riverbed has dried up, and this is causing chaos because people do not have water to consume and use for their daily chores. My colleague Pearl Akanyo-Ofori has visited the community and she joins me now. So welcome back from Nsawam, Pearl. So what is happening in Nsawam? We know that the riverbed is dried up. How are people coping?
So people are in search of anything water. Now what they have decided to do is that they drink from contaminated, sources of water. They drink from a contaminated tributary of the Dainty River. You get into the Nsawam municipality and you see people carrying gallons of water on their heads, people holding buckets to just one source to look for anything water to drink. So they don't care whether it is clean, they don't care whether it is contaminated. All they need is water.
But what's the connection to the drying up of the river? Were they used to fetching water from the river, or what exactly?
No, they were not used to fetching water from that river, but it's because the Dainty River, which is their main source of water, has dried up. So they have to go in search of water, and then they happen to find this contaminated tributary, and they tell themselves, oh, why can't we fetch from this source of water? So they depend on the Dainty River for water, Sanda.
They do not have a means of getting alternative means of providing water for the people of Nsawam. Is that what they are saying?
No, for now, what they are doing is that tanker services have been deployed to
And this is by the water company?
No, this is by the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing, and they are working with officials of NADMO and National Security. So they bring water tankers there to serve some of the residents, but they have priorities. They focus on the hospitals, schools, and then the Nsawam prison. So for the other residents in Nsawam, they have to search for their own water because the water tankers are not enough to service the residents.
Thank you very much, Pearl Akanyo-Ofori. So the water situation, particularly in Nsawam, has been declared a national disaster because National Disaster Management Organization officials, as well as Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing officials, are helping to bring potable water to residents of that community. But that's how we end this edition of Politicos, which was live on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. Catch you next week.